Let me pose you a question, dear viewer. You're playing your favorite tactics RPG, Fire Emblem Fates for the Nintendo 3DS, and you are currently making a choice. You absolutely are infatuated by the game's Beastone user, Keaton, and you want him to marry your player character, Corin. Unfortunately, you're running a magic build, and the support bonuses you get for marrying him don't apply well to your build. You know that Camilla has been slightly too weak on your most recent maps, and would love to pair up with someone who'd give her some extra strength. You sigh, knowing what has to be done for the sake of your game. You marry off your dream in-game boyfriend to your weird half-sister, enjoying the benefits of making the optimal choice, but pondering long nights about what could have been. But Camilla does +4 damage, baby! Yeah! These are the kinds of choices that I live for in video games, whether it's trying to figure out the best build for Bard in League of Legends, or optimizing my setup in stupid Roblox games. I just can't get enough of it. I like to believe it started when I was a young little guy playing a new game on my 3DS called Monster Hunter Generations. I was infatuated by the really cool monsters and the really fun bighorn that plays songs, but I was struggling at a certain point in progression. I joined a person's stream as a new player, and through the stream I learned that apparently you aren't supposed to just build the armor with the highest defense. Little Pizus learned so much that day that you're supposed to actually build your character, and you want certain skills in order to make the best build possible. Cue me spending hours upon hours looking up what the best hunting horn was, what armors to run, which ones could help me not get one shot like a dork. This game was essentially my gateway drug into making hyper-specific builds in video games. Listen, if you see an aerial hunting horn player out in the wild, just know you're speaking to a real professional here. Ever since then, I've become a massive nerd when it comes to learning the ins and outs of video games I play. I know a lot of people from the outside might see it as optimizing the fun out of a game, but honestly, it's kind of the fun part to me at least. I can enjoy the absolute bevy of beautiful and unique characters in a game like Baldur's Gate 3, and I can appreciate the wondrous and joyous landscapes that the game provides. However, while I can appreciate the world that Larian has shown off, it doesn't hold a candle to me grabbing every single thing on the ground and filling a barrel dubbed the Sell Barrel and loaning it to an NPC for like 100 gold or something. My friends can talk to, Shadowheart or whatever, but I'm trying to make as much money as possible without outright stealing it, because I didn't think to make my character good at it. There is a logical extreme though, and my Baldur's Gate shenanigans are a good example of what I consider fun optimizing. It doesn't affect the other player's experience by trivializing the game, it's just kinda funny. By technicality, I could hop onto my friend's new Minecraft server, go straight to the nether, get enough pearls and blaze powder to get to the end, and win the game. Counterpoint, however, that is boring as fuck. The joy in this kind of degenerate meta behavior should only really affect the person doing it, not the people just trying to play the game like an actual human. That's why I often don't partake in this behavior unless it happens to align well with the goals of my friends, or it's just really funny. Sure, in Minecraft I might not have a well-designed base, or rather, not a base at all, some would say, but that's because I've been making a gigantic nuclear reactor that I can make slightly more energy with. Also, it'd be really nuclear if you subscribe. That's another thing that kind of relates to this sort of mindset I've gathered from gaming. I have a really bad habit of never partaking in a game's cosmetic options and just fully focusing on things that provide actual function. I know for some people it depends on the game, but it's particularly bad when it comes to games with easily accessible options. Take Stardew Valley for example. I legitimately did not bother with the really nice path options the game provides until I realized that they gave you a minor speed boost, and then I was all over that. Or Terraria, where I get bothered by the fact I can't make these really accessible and nice speedrun houses because I guess they do kind of look ugly, but come on, they're nice. With my mindset in particular, it often helps that I don't really choose to do things that I consider meta per se. I like making things work even if they don't really make a lot of sense, simply because I find them far more fun than what the best option actually is. Oftentimes I'll take supportive characters in games like Deadlock and choose to run a build that maximizes as much damage as possible. Of course, it'd make way more sense to run a bunch of utility items to make everyone's lives easier. Counterpoint, however, did you see how much freaking damage my ability did to that wave? Even with something like this, I'll look up guides and other online resources in order to do it in the best way possible, and sometimes that theory crafting process can be more fun than the actual build itself. Looking at you, Alt7. Speaking of guides, I refuse to believe that I'm the only one with this kind of gooper gamer brain syndrome here. If you have ever looked up a tier list for a game that you've just tapped into, then you're at least slightly in the same boat as me. There is no better content to listen to while at work than a niche Fire Emblem YouTuber talk about a bunch of random units I realistically won't have time to use. I mean, that's awesome. Sure man, Cavalier Sakura, send it, whatever. It makes me happy that there are at least some people in the world who can take really dumb ideas like that into their logical extremes, and I hope you can see the joy in something like that as well, dear viewer. In total, this kind of discussion slash talking about funny things I did video is here to kind of diagnose why I play games in the sort of way I do. It's hard to articulate what about theory crafting builds in video games is so fun to me and specific. Something about knowing a game's ins and outs, applying my knowledge as best as I possibly can, it just hits different, to be honest. If you have any takeaway from this video, I just want you to know that the maker of the Dandy's World tier list might be kinda like screwed up in the brain a little bit. I don't know. So thank you for watching. As a side note, I wanted to try and do something outside of my little niche I kind of built up for myself, just for fun. I thought a rambling video kind of picking at my brain would be kind of cool, so for the future, I'd probably be down to make more stuff like this if y'all are interested. Maybe about some other random stuff I'm interested in? Up to you guys, honestly. I absolutely love the VAR style discussion of random topics related to games, so probably something in that vein, I guess. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.